be in the industry. Because what I do is I make real Christian music. That's one thing I never went into. My music is not for play, it's not for have fun, it's really to educate people. And that's what would hurt I would hurt the industry. Don't you understand it? And I don't expect many people to rock with my next narrative, but this is a soul thing. Where there's one in the midst, there's many. That's one thing you learn about when it comes to this. Now, what I'm about to say is all true. They can believe it, they cannot. I'm about to teach you something even more serious. I respect all those rocking with me. I want y'all to know I actually got this beat. This is one of the many beats from the artists that you know, that you heard, some of your major artists. My beats come from the same place, but my message is different. I'm showing you one of the beats that I definitely have in my artillery. But you're not hearing the genuine version. I'm showing you the version that actually has their tag over it. This song is called Jesus is Lord. I'm going to show you it when it's time. All will come when it's time. But right now, I want to show you something. And this is to you too, Mr. Kanye West. Since you're kind of confused, I'm going to help you. Don't worry, I got you. And when it comes to beats, I have that same mentality. I know exactly what it is I rap, exactly what the hook is. And I might kick it for y'all at the end. But I definitely want to go into this narrative that I have prepared. So what I'll do is I'll actually show you what I have wrote to the song, because it's all in my mind. All 18 to 100 tracks are right here. I designated it to mine because when I rapped it through, all I got to do is hear the beat and I know what I'm saying. But let me mention something. Let me show you a level of deception that got you. I want to show you this because this is your kids. This is your family. And you're not going to see, listen, this is a spot that's not comfortable for those who are against us. It's not. It's not comfortable because they know what I'm not talking about and they know what I am talking about. They know I'm not talking about the case I've been investigating, but they know I am talking about something that condemns their souls. So let me show you something. Let me ask you a question after it. Because Mr. Kanye West came out playing the Christian role, Jesus is King. When we've read in the Bible, when it speaks about when they say that there is a savior in a foreign place or in a chambers to not go, this is no different. This man's imagery he's giving you in your mind is making you think that he's someone he's not. Let me remind you if you've forgotten. Oh, now they're trying to move the video. Oh, nope, got it.
And if they take everything away from me, it wouldn't fucking matter. Artists be too concerned about their well-being sometimes. Artists be too scared to stand up for something. They scared to lose their fucking house. Or they scared to lose their record deal.
And he's no different. And I'm going to show you. He's pulling you in.
I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Lisa came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
Lisa came with a few toys like a Happy Meal. This man had been told you this. So you think him saying Jesus is king now holds any weight against what he's saying here? When he performed, I don't know, when did it drop? At the IMAX theater? Didn't it? IMAX in itself gives you the message. He ain't changed. He ain't changed. It was a lie. What he's using is lingo that you would use or you would think is rational in his sense to boost his own well-being. But his messages do not provide any substance because he is not sincere with them. Even if this was his attempt, he still has not yet stepped out of that light. Let me explain. Jesus is not king. He's not king. There is nowhere it says Jesus is king. No, nowhere. Not in one text. What does it say? King of kings, Lord of lords. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. Big difference. Huge difference. It's the difference between a mile and 2 steps. You're saying he's king when we're told that there's kings in hell. Oh, you think I'm lying? Let me read you something so that we're on the same page so you get it. And when I read this, I want you to understand what it's really saying. We could go to the Hebrew text. We could go to many texts. Therefore, Isaiah 5:14. Therefore, Sheol, which is hell, that's Hebrew for hell, enlarges its throat and eats wide its enormous jaws and opens wide its enormous jaws. And down goes Zion's nobles in masses, her jubilant and carousers. That includes Mr. West, okay? He's not exempt. When you do in the physical have everything, and you make music that does not tell the truth, you chance being included in that. Jubilant, those are people of high standards, higher than high standards. Even they are included. Let me go to Revelations, and I could talk through that. Revelations 21:8. But the fearful and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. So what does that tell you? We don't just live once, we live twice. It wouldn't say that's the second death if you didn't live again. So this life we're living in, when I say this is the matrix, as I said before, I'm not saying that to sound cute. I'm saying that because that is exactly what we're in. We're not in our second form. Everybody has a second form. We're not in it. That is the form that will be down with when the time comes. Matthew 10:28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Think of that. That tells you that there's no man able to take your second life from you. That's the one that's judged. That's the one that you'll know what the truth is there. Let me explain it again. Let me break it down even further. Matthew 13:50. This should sound familiar, even to the dumbest ear. And shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Wailing and gnashing of teeth. Where did you hear that exact moniker? Where did you hear it? Look, I'm not willing. I'm going to show you right now. I'm willing to give up my monetization on this to show you. And it's through Kanye West we heard that. Fact or not? This is Kanye West's song.
Well, it is the weekend and the world and natural thing. It is the weekend.
What is it saying? What is it saying? Did you miss it? Did you miss that? The beginning of your song.
Well, it is the weekend and the world and natural thing. It is the weekend and the world and natural thing. It is.
What did I just say? Matthew 13 and 50. And shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Why does ad-libs come on a song you're singing about a Lamborghini Mercy? Why does it start off with that? Well, it's because it's play on it. They play with it. They don't really believe in what they tell you, let alone they don't believe in themselves. They're in a disillusion where they're living under a guise as a superstar, but they don't really know what they're talking about. Why is Czarr All Rights Reserved speaking on it? I'm going to tell you right here. 2 Thessalonians, chapter 1, verse 9. Who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his power? You are punished if you know something's wrong and you do not speak up for it. You are punished if you know something being put out to confuse the masses is done and you don't do your part to thwart it. He still is working. So don't think the Jesus is King title says, oh, he's a Christian. You got him walking in the churches now trying to preach. That's literally a demon and a blessed presence to confuse the masses. Because we know he's not just king. He's King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So the way you interpret it even has them confused because they're starstruck. Let me not be disrespectful. Let me tell you about Czarr making a comment to Mr. West and he acted. Let me tell you so you don't confuse me with somebody else. There was something that happened in Chicago, okay? It was an innocent man that helped to prevent the destruction of others. And when he did, he lost his life when police showed up because they shot him. Czarr, directly after that, I still got the tweeted Mr. West and said, look, this just happened. Showed him the story. Said, can you do anything to help this man's family? I said, they just showed up and violated him. I said, you're such a big standpoint. Why can't you stand up and do something? That weekend, the same weekend, after I sent that during the week, he sent $40,000 to that man's family. $40,000. He's not without a heart. Don't think he just ran. Oh, I was planning to do it. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. I said something about it, and you did it. Respect to that. I gave you respect after that. But what you're doing now, I can't buy it. Anybody can mention things. Let me read this. How should I believe in Jesus when his image of God is the two popes' son? Well, sir, I'm trying not to go there. That's a totally different conversation. But I want you to take your time to rise above the Vatican, look down on the Vatican, and tell me what you see. When you do that, then we can have a deep conversation. I want you to go look up pictures of within the Vatican, the Pope's chair, and everything in there. Then we'll conversate. Go do that for me. We'll conversate then. Not being disrespectful. Yes, you know about that incident. What did we say? What do you know to be the case? A man and a woman's actions will dictate how they feel about something. It's not so much as what they say, it's their actions and their decisions. Look at the Pope's chair. What do you see? If you tell me what you see, I'll tell you exactly what I see. Now, here's the thing. We talk about artists selling their souls. Let me break it down for you. Revelation chapter 20, verse 10. See, just like Czarr did his thing with the case, the Bible did that about what's around you. Where do you think the power I had came from? Where do you think the power I've shown you with my media, where did it come from? How was he doing that? They're asking themselves, how? Now you know. If you didn't know, now you know. Let me read this to you. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and forever. What do people do when they go down for a crime? Do they not snitch on others? Do they not involve others? This is the nature of what you see on a larger scale when reading through the Bible. You're reading about stories of men and women going through trials similar to yours in a past day, but it holds true for the modern day. What's even more modern is when you get to Revelations, the last book, it tells you if you sell your soul or do these things, you are being deceived. It is someone grabbing you and pulling you to where they're going. It's no different. He's charged with the ultimate crime. He's pulling you all with him. He doesn't want to be there alone. Who wants to be locked up alone? But see, the problem is he has the key to the bottomless pit, as you're told, which means he's there suffering. Yet, for someone suffering, he is the same mentality that we take on. We are of our father, the devil, until we alleviate ourselves of that mentality. That is only through Christ. What he's going to do when you go down there, he's going to make sure you get tortured worse than him. Because what does a person do when they're caught? They want you to get the worst of it. They want you worse off than them. He is no different. That theology comes from the devil. It's from him. It is his embodiment. He wants you to be worse off than him. Every second, he'll give you the biggest amount of riches you can have just to make sure you're worse off than him. He'll give you anything because none of it means nothing. He knows where he goes. None of that means nothing because he doesn't have a chance of heaven. Heaven's not on the plate for him. He knows where he goes. So confusing you and pulling you down with him is what he does best. He's the father of lies. How does a God tell you, an ultimate God tell you he's the father of lies? You aren't better than him. He's the father of lies. So he will lie to you, trick you, pull you down, make you think hell's a joke, make you think it's all a game until you wake and you know where you are. You know where you are then. Let me get you again. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26 to 31. For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. Of how much sorer punishment, suppose ye, shall he be thou thought worthy, who hath trodden under the foot of the Son of Man, and hath counted the blood of the covenant, wherewith he was sanctified, an unholy thing, and hath done despite unto the Spirit of grace, They're talking about the father of lies. He's done the worst. You can't do any worse. You can rob, steal, kill all you want. You can't do worse than he's done. Okay? It's telling you he's the worst. So when I say, are you praying with your head down or are you praying with your head up? I'm not saying it to be smart. I'm trying to educate you on who you're actually sending prayers to. You gotta be careful of that. You gotta be careful. When you're really wanting and wishing for something, then you're looking down. You gotta be careful. That's the energy you're providing to the one who attempted to trodden on Son of Man, Son of God, excuse me. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. For we know him that hath said, vengeance unto me, I will recompense, saith the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. Doesn't matter what you or I do on this earth between him. Doesn't matter what you say about me, I say about you, because you'll be judged by the Son of God. And particularly, it said the Lord. He'll judge all of us, anybody, including the one that did the crime and the one that was the victim. You'll all be judged by the same one. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Who is it you fear? Is it a man you fear, or is it God you fear? Are your choices made in fearfulness of man or God? Mr. West, when you came out and said that, and you said these artists are scared, who are they scared of? Is it man or God? You were talking about man. You were saying they're scared because they're going to get hurt for them telling the truth about something. It was okay you declaring that you made a bad decision, but you didn't speak down on it. That was the deception right there. It sounded good. It sounded good. I sold my soul to the devil. Yeah, it was a crappy deal. At least it came with a few toys like a Happy Meal. That was deception. Because what you're saying is at least it came with a few toys like a Happy Meal. By that time of you saying that, that was damnation on yourself. You actually damnated others too. Because you made them think, yeah, it was a crappy deal to sell my soul, but at least I got this. I'm telling you this now. Mr. West, if you do not declare the true God and you declare it cut, clear, concise, transparent, all of the actions you've done before this are null and void to any recompense. You will be held accountable for this, including this Jesus is King album, when you know in your heart that it's not the message that God has given you to put out. You tagged his name on it. That's worse than you selling your soul. You tagged his name on it. Oh, buddy, that was a mistake. You don't ever tag his name on something when you know what you're doing is not correct. It's just as bad as people that walk around. You ever hear someone go, Jesus Christ, and they're saying it? That's pure blasphemy. That literally adds a level of damnation to you. You see, sin is forgiven by the same God that allows you to be a God as he created you. We are all God entities. That's why we have freedom of choice. But when you deny the right choice, you accept either being with God the Father or the father of lies. You can only give praise to either or. You can't combine them. The text tells you that clearly. Even this text, it makes a clear differential decision between lies, who is away from grace, and who's with grace. It continues. And I could do this for decades. It gets deep. You see, I studied deeply, really looked through Hebrew language and understood. Listen to this. This is so deep. Listen to this, okay? And I love the Bible because I like deep things. It's deep. Watch how deep this gets. Revelation 14, chapter 14, verse 11. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. Remember, I just read that the devil's going down there forever and ever, to be tormented day and night forever and ever. To end up with him is losing everything. I seen people joking on it. People nicknames the demon. You don't know what you curse yourself with. You don't know. It is something deeper. The torment that comes to you is so bad that you don't have a clue that there's nothing you can do to stop it. Did you get the... I'm going to read the verse after this. But understand, there's the devil and there's demons. Let me explain how it works. Demons. You know how people say they see demons and stuff? They're all around you and I. They profess and encourage you and I to do things. We have doppelgangers. Remember, we were born in sin, right? That means there is an image of us already there, ready to suffer. It gets deep. It's hard, but stick with me. You have an embodiment in a place in hell by which the devil has already prepared for you because he wants to see you suffer. That is why he wants people to sell their soul, because he knows for sure he's filling a spot. Think about it. In a hotel, what does a hotel do for filling spots? They take reservations. We're all reserved in hell because we were born in sin. But it is our duty to fight out of that position, to stand in a different light so we reclaim what it is that they have on us in hell. That is why we sin. That is why we do the worst. That's why the world is what it is. It is for you to reclaim your soul that is torn to hell. When you sell your soul, it's not like you're selling something that isn't already there. That's the trick. It's deception. You were born in sin. When you sell your soul, what you're saying is that I want to do bad. I want to blaspheme. I want to do it, and I never want to change. It is a declaration that you will stay the same forever and ever and get tormented forever and ever. Just like this says, to let the smoke ascendeth from you burning forever and ever. That's the key. So that's what you got to keep in mind. I brought this to you because it will weigh on my soul if I don't tell you the truth. I'll be held accountable. With this power he's given me of insight, I will be held accountable. Am I serious? Money is going to be something that is always prevalent to us. Do you think I wasn't offered money to shut up? Do you think I wasn't offered these things? Why did I deny it? From reading this, why would I deny it? It's simple. Because me accepting any form of anything instead of telling the truth on what actually happened and what I know or have found out would be a form of me selling myself out. It's not to put on a show for you. It's selling myself out because I know what I'm worth. You're worth the money and riches. That is why in heaven it's promised to you. If it wouldn't be promised to you if you weren't worth it, but it's put in front of you to see what you'll accept to do someone else's bidding. That's what it is. It's more than that. When they say to me, oh, we're good over here, you are. Because on this earth, for the wrong you're doing, you are good. But in any scenario in your second life, you're not. And you pay and get tortured forever and ever. There's no end to it. That is why you're comfortable up here, because you sold yourself out. Selling yourself out isn't just a celebrity or a star. You could be an everyday person and sell yourself out. It's all about how you obtain the mentality to not Jesus is king, but he's King of kings, Lord of lords. It's a game. That's why I said the Matrix. God, who was Jesus Christ in the flesh, God and him are one and the same. It's the Son of God, but him, they're both the same. Jesus Christ, that was God in the flesh. I have a question. You guys know how real God is. They make it some uptight, stuck up thing. Let me explain it. And they're going to play with my life. Trust me. Here's the difference. God is so real. I'm going to just restart it if they keep playing. But God is so real. He said, I cannot judge you if I do not come down here in the flesh and live out what you live out. Why do you think Christ was tortured? Why do you think of all the people he was attacked, beaten? You seen the movie Mel Gibson had. Why do you think he was whooped like that? It's because he could not tell you or judge you if he did not feel what you felt. He created, it's not, he created you, so he knew what you would go through. He knew how it felt, but he said to double down on who I am. Let me go through what you're going to go through physically. That's deep. That is the realest. You don't even have a friend that real. Your parents couldn't be that real. That's why he says he loves us all. Your parents could never be that real. He said, let me get tortured. He knew what was going to happen to him when he came. It says he could have called a legion of angels to wipe everybody off the face of the earth at any moment. Did not use his power. How many people in power use their power every day to harm others? Every day. Didn't use his power. Did not. He took the pain and said, I'm going to take this pain so I truly know what it is my people went through, and I'm going to give them unlimited chances. Here's the difference between Old Testament and New Testament. Old Testament, you sinned, you are gone. That's Old Testament. You sin, you're gone. New Testament, Christ died for our sins, the ultimate sacrifice. So we have the chance to make mistakes and ask for forgiveness, period. I'm trying to tell you, I know some of you are like, I don't believe. I'm telling you fact. You're talking to somebody that spent years studying it. You're talking to a guy at one point, when my mom died, ever since a kid, was vowing I would kill God because he took my mother from me. That's who you're talking to. Until I seen the mercy and different things he worked with me in life. And then I came upon it and I understood it. I met it with people. Some people in the past, we were making music, not the right music, doing different things. I worked with, they now believe the same thing. That's a blessing. We went all different paths, but we still ended up in the same mentality. You can't make that up. We went through stuff. We were actually doing it. We were the guys trying to get in the game. These new little guys, we were before them. We turned our backs because we knew exactly what it is we needed to do. It was to educate, help others. Mistakes we made, try to help others not make the same mistakes. Let me tell you this. There are many people that walk around, they'll look at you funny, want drama with you out of nowhere. Those are spirits. We battle not against flesh and blood, but around that is greater than higher principalities. It's not this that you're dealing with. It's the spirit in them. trying to make sure you go down there. It's a trial. Luke 12, chapter 12, verse 5. But I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear. Fear him, which after he hath killed, hath power to cast you into hell. Yeah, I say unto you, fear him. We're talking about prophets in the past day that's saying you need to fear who's going to decide where you go in your second life, not who wants to punish you or attack you in this life, because he who is above deals with him. Bad and things like that don't happen unless God allows it. There is nothing evil does unless God allows it. I could tell you countless stories about how I know that to be true. There is no, so you don't fear evil around you. You defeated that. You fear the one who makes the decision what happens to you after. And he who is up there tells you, my son, Jesus Christ is Lord of Lords, King of Kings, our Savior. Period. There's no argument or debate on that. Just because you sin, I don't want you saying, well, screw God, I'm going to do this anyway because he says. That's not the God he is. He's a God of love and peace. He's a forgiving God. He wants you to turn from wickedness. He doesn't want you to partake in it and say, since you can't stop, you're going to keep doing it. He wants you to cure yourself. And you're right. There are real demons out there. There's people filled with demons. They're real demons. But God has given you the embodiment to war with all of them. None of them can do war with Christ. Not one. That is why they flee. None of them have the spirit to do war with Christ above. When you see me laughing, you guys say it's an evil laugh. Imagine the chills evil people get. You already lost. They already lost. Matter of fact, their time's even nearer than ever. So they're doing the most, trying to recruit the most souls, trying to give out the most money, trying to rush the most people into hell, because he knows he's going to be alone unless he pulls others down with him. Let me tell you something else you didn't know. Remember how I said, Mr. West, technically you didn't sell your soul. If your soul is still in your body, and you have not made some of the choices that are alleged other people have made, so that your soul is no longer within your frame, I want to tell you, here's the deception. You can't sell your soul. You can't sell your soul. Let me ask you a question. How can you sell something that the Almighty Christ is giving you? He didn't give you the power to sell your soul. He didn't give no one else the power to tell you you sold your soul. It's a mental thing. If I get your mental, I get the body and the soul. You're supposed to fear him who makes the decision for the body and the soul. Not even him who makes it for the body. Not even him who makes it for the soul. You can't sell your soul. At any given time, you are able to give your soul to Christ at any time, but it's not to be played with. Some people know that and they'll say, well, I'll get all this money and do all this. You don't know the time. You don't know the timeline. That's why your soul should be given to Christ ASAP. As long as you're in his hands, any person that comes up against you to do war will fail. Everybody. When you heard me sitting up here saying these guys can't win, it wasn't because I'm like, oh, I'm so powerful. I knew what my power source was. And I knew what would become of them if they tried me the right way. I already knew. The same way these guys, you heard about them doing rituals, doing blood and stuff. That's the same relationship I have with Christ. That's how I know what would happen to them for trying to do battle with a losing God. Your God lost. Your God is begging to get back to a place he can never go. That's the biggest joke. You guys are being deceived by a jester. Oh, Joker. You thought that movie was a joke? You think that movie had nothing to do with the devil, right? When you know the signs and symbols around you, as someone who's a believer, you can laugh in joy because you know what's going to happen to the enemy. You know what's going to happen to the evil. You know what's going to happen to everyone who embodies giving energy to that. You know what happens. They're going to be screaming. What are they going to be doing, Mr. West? It was in your song. What are they going to be doing? What are they going to be doing? That's what they're going to be doing. That's what they're going to be doing. Okay, weeping, mourning, gnashing their teeth, cursing God because they know they messed up and they dragged all them fans down with them. Oh, you dragged so many people. Your torture is going to be beyond. Let me explain it this way. The torture you're going to receive is so heinous that it said there is nothing more heinous on this earth that equals to what you're going to face forever and forever. They know that. But see, what they don't understand is the deception. You can't sell your soul, dummy. You can't sell your soul. Your soul belongs to the Creator. He decides where you go. You don't sell it. He decides where you go. The question is, who are you with when it's time to go? That's the truth. We could go to any religion, and I can show you this. I'm the Czarr of Jasperra. What does that mean? What's Jasperra? What's Jasperra mean? Those who research, oh, you hated when you heard that. Oh, you hated it. What's the Jasper? Look up the Jasper. What does the Jasper say? What does it say? You're right. It's the 12th jewel on the armor of God. I'm the last person that is going to speak to you in this nature, of this flesh, of this stance, of me. Not many more people are going to open up and speak like this. Your pastor may speak this way. Oh, other YouTubers may. But how I just told you, no one else is going to tell you that way. Because we are living in an age where everyone's so out for money, they don't care about their soul. I'm the last person that is going to break it down like that. I'm not going into details, showing symbols and signs. I just blatantly told you what it is you need to do, who it is that's in control, debunk what it is that's shown in front of you to deceive you. That's the last. You're not getting many more. And here's the thing. Here's the queasy feeling you should get by not fearing him. The moment every single life form and being able to be held accountable knows of who he is when the end begins. Revelations tells you that. When a kid that is like 5, 6, they're not held to the same standard of sin as you. They're not. He even gave an age. It was in the tense of 70 10 days, 10 weeks. That's not exact, but that's how it was given. Okay? That's the way he gave it. That's up to the age point he judges. If you are a preteen on up, you're held accountable. You are. That's why an adult teaching you the right thing is so crucial. That's why I speak up for minors. That's why I kept on this case. That's why I stepped up the game and I turned the heat up on them. Because they know, hey, get used to it. You're going to be heating up anyway. That's what you want. You want to brag about hell, brag about the devil. Well, when you join him, I guarantee you're singing a different tune. What is it going to be, Mr. Kanye West? What is it they're going to be doing? Huh?
Well, if it's a weekend and a walking and natural thing, if it's a weekend and a walking and natural thing,
imagine that song playing in the background to a bunch, millions and millions and millions upon billions of people burning and screaming. That's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. This song, I won't be shocked if you'll hear this song playing while you're getting burned and scorned. Forever and forever, day and night. No rest, no sleep, no food, no drink, just getting burned and tortured forever. Can you imagine that? So to think somewhere like that exists, would I not rather chase my life with the Father rather than chase it with the father of lies? Think about that. It's deep. It makes you think. We don't know how long we all have on this earth, but while we're here, it is best that we make the best decisions, putting that Father first, no matter what, by reading our books to learn and up our ante. Because those you see winning here, not one of them is going to be winning down there. Those you see winning up there, not one of them is going to be winning down there. Not one of them. Not one of them. What is it all of them get?
well, if it's a weekend and a walking and natural thing, if it's a weekend and a walking and natural thing,
That's what all of them get. That's what all of them get. I just read the verse that told you about gnashing of teeth. That's what all of them get. And here's my thing. To all you celebrities, hear me good, hear me now. You have a platform and a place, not where to play with, but to tell the truth, okay? The decision you make will be that of the outcome you get. There is no do-overs when it comes to this, okay? You make the decision to rap on songs like this, talking about Lamborghini Mercy, Your Girl So Thirsty. Isn't it funny how they hint to stuff? You thirst. You don't eat. You make your bed a bed of maggots and a cover of worms. It's pure torture. You don't hear me, though. You don't hear me, though. I'm trying to tell you what happens. You have so many demons around you trying to prevent the truth. I'm Jasper. This is part of the last truth you're going to get. I just blatantly showed you a song that they hint at hell and they make it a hit song and dancing. There's no dancing or partying in hell. You burn. You're tortured. Weeping, gnashing of teeth. Mourning. The song told you. I don't even need to tell you that. This was a Kanye West song. And now he's saying Jesus is king? Yeah. No, he's King of Kings. He's Lord of Lords. Get it right. No. For real. Get it right, or you'll see what you get. Don't use his name in an album you have no business doing when you're not doing the work of him. Don't play. What do I say? I'm not play. He ain't play. If I ain't play, he ain't play. And never will be. What you get, money doesn't work for him. Items don't work for him. Threats don't work for him. What he's going to do to you is going to be your deserving, and it's going to be everything you ask for. Trust me. The worst of the worst finds nightmares in where they go. Think of the worst person when they leave this earth. Their nightmare begins and it doesn't end. That's a fact. That's not true? Okay. Let me do you one better. I was being light with what I was reading. Let me do you one better. Let me see if I can find it here. Matthew chapter 18, verse 8. If your hand or your foot causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it from you. It is better for you to enter life crippled or lame than to have 2 hands, 2 feet, and be cast into eternal fire. It's better to be without your hands and feet than to do wrong, sin, go to hell, and be in hell. It says if your hand is offending you to go to hell, cut it off. If your foot is, cut it off because you don't want to go there. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. Let me give you another scripture. It gets better. I'm not going to say it gets better, but this gives you peace as a believer amongst those who think they're getting away with something. Watch this. Matthew chapter 5, verse 22. Okay, we're jumping back real quick. But I say unto you that everyone who is angry with his brother shall be guilty before the court. And whoever says to his brother, you good for nothing, shall be guilty before the Supreme Court. Okay. And whoever says, you fool, shall be guilty enough to go into the fiery hell. Do you get how little sins can get you caught up into larger sins? Look at it. Look at what it says. It says, but I say unto you that everyone who is angry with his brother shall be guilty before the court. That says don't hold grudges. Don't be angry with someone. That shows guilty on your soul. And whoever says to his brother, you good for nothing. Well, you declared, so you go from being angry in silence to declaring him good for nothing. Okay? You're basically saying, brother, you're useless. You're guilty before the Supreme Court. But whoever says you fool, that means whoever, in a sense, declares the worst of someone. That is why when I spoke about Bruno doing the things he did, I didn't damn him. I said, stop doing what you did. I said, it seems you can't stop doing what you did. I didn't damn him because I know what's going to happen to him. I know. He thinks it's a game, calling it, oh, the devil's house. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? If torture is forever and forever, for a moment to be popular, you're willing to go somewhere forever. That's your decision. Burning, torture, like it's beyond gruesome what awaits you down there. The smell alone with the sulfur and the burning flesh could kill you. The sulfury smell alone could kill you, but you never die. That's the problem. You can't die because you're in your second form. Back to that. Remember, I said, he said it's better to cut your hands and your feet out, right? Get this. If your eye, Matthew chapter 18, verse 9. If your eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out and throw it from you. It is better for you to enter life with one eye than to have two eyes in the fiery hell. It's better than to have two hands, 2 feet, and 2 eyes to see the horrors, feel the horrors, walk through the horrors of hell. He says, cut it all off. Get rid of everything. That's what they don't get. Let me tell you this story. This is a king. See, now we get to the nitty gritty. We get to the nitty gritty. How can a man like Kanye help others if he hasn't? I don't know, Walter. I don't know. But we're going to make this clear. I'm making this very clear. Luke chapter 16, verse 24. Listen, this is a king that is in hell. Here's what he said. And he cried out and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me and send Lazarus so that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am in agony in this flame. Think of that. He wanted another man to dip his finger in water and just tap his tongue. That would have been relief. That's how bad it is. Tapping his tongue would have been relief. Tap another grown man to dip his finger in water, tap his tongue. That would be relief from the pain and the thirst. Y'all don't hear me. Y'all don't hear me. Mark chapter 9, verse 48. This is speaking of hell, where their worm does not die and the fire is not quenched. Worm is not, it's not some random thing. Really, there's worms down there. You know, if you understand, worms and maggots exist in heat. Intense temperatures, they can survive. Look it up. If there's burning flesh, if torture's happening, blood everywhere, things like that, there will be insects. Think about that. There will be insects. Insects are up here now. When a carcass is on the road, they're all over it. They're going to be all over you down there because you can't die. You'll be dying without dying. So you're already dead. So they're all over you. Do you get that? I don't think you understand that. Get this. You know how a lot of people try and go to a level to be like, oh, Hades, death, like trying to make it its own thing. Oh, the Grim Reaper. Revelation chapter 20, verse 14. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. This is the second death. The lake of fire. So the hell you experience first going down there isn't even the hell that you're going to get forever and ever. There's a second level to it. It's like, this is bad. No, it gets worse. That's how bad it is down there. And it tells you death in Hades goes there. Okay? So we can look at the idea of death in Hades as a very spiritual existence that is under the devil. Those who go into death a certain way. Because God never meant it for us to die. He meant it for you to have life more abundantly. Do you get that? That's why it gets deep. Because death itself, it is against the Lord. Except when death takes you, he saves you. If you're with him, he gives you life again versus you just sticking with death. That's what the mind, People's minds aren't there yet. They don't even see life and death as an entity. You think it's just a word or a state of being. It is a very spiritual entity. Life, death. Death in Hades goes to the lake of fire. Because once he gives life to all of his followers, you will live forever. So there's no need for death. Do you get, yo, I can't make this up. This is deep. People don't read through it like this. They say, oh, that makes no sense. It makes perfect sense. If I'm love, peace, tranquility, opportunity, forgiveness, why would I be in a place where death can exist? I wouldn't. Because I come to bring life more abundantly, and life everlasting. That's what gets people hemmed up. If you don't understand that basic thing, it's hard to comprehend everything else. Everything else is like mumbo jumbo, but I'm trying to save y'all in a sense where you need to get invested and get this in your spirit, or you will face death, go with death, and that will be your end. That is not what he meant for us, okay? That's not meant for us. What's within your body is not meant to die. The body and flesh die, not what's within you. It lives forever. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Now, let me say this. Through the power of understanding this, I know for a fact that when X died, somebody, I'm not going to name him, did something to try and keep his spirit around. Didn't you? Did you not? I see your symbolism. You did something to try and keep his spirit around. You know that doesn't work that way, right? You know that doesn't work that way, right? I was told from my spirit within to let you know that, because you'll be held accountable for that. You will be held accountable for that. So I suggest you get it right fast. Seriously. You will be held accountable for that. If you don't think you will be held accountable for that. Even trying to do that, you will. You will. Revelation chapter 21, verse 8. But for the cowardly and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and immoral persons and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars, their part will be in the lake that burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Get that? You see that ending? The second death, not the second life. You're not given life. That's why when people try and be philosophical and tell me there's no God, oh, I can't. Again, we don't call our brothers fools. We don't call them good for nothings. You're misled. You're misled because the simple things you don't get. If you're a liar or idolater, I cannot bring you into heaven. So you go to the second death by which it burns forever and ever. Because you cannot be in the midst, in the presence. See, the torture is not only physical, mental, forever and ever in hell. It's the thought of being forever away from an eternal God that is of life, peace, prosperity, wealth, health. If you aren't over here with him, you're getting the opposite. What's the opposite of life? What's the opposite of peace? What's the opposite of prosperity? You're getting the opposite forever and ever. That's what it's telling you. It's that simple. You don't get the good that God brings away from his presence in your second life. I don't know why pastors don't break it down that way, but that's it. That's simple. Here's the thing. People say, oh, when I leave the earth, I'll just tell God I didn't mean to do it. I'm going to plead for this. When you leave and you stand before him, your sins stand beside you as a separate entity. Your evil Your heart being dark stands beside you. Your soul testifies for you in the midst of Christ. That's crazy to think. Listen, if this form is the flesh, this isn't even a form that stands before God. It doesn't go before God. It is my soul. And your soul is in such a great presence, it tells on you. If you did the worst, never ask for forgiveness, it'll tell him. He knows already, but it will tell him. Your own soul condemns you because it is in lieu to the creator of it. It will tell the creator, this guy robbed, he stole. Oh God, he even went over there. He assaulted those girls. God, he also did this and did that. Your soul will tell on you without you speaking. That's how powerful he is. There's scriptures to tell you that. And on another time, when we get to that level, I'll read them to you. Your soul testifies for you. You don't even get to speak. That's how deep this is. And people think the world, oh, it's fun. YOLO, screaming YOLO. That's a lie. Who did the song YOLO? Go look up and see who did the song YOLO. They're a lie. They're here to deceive you. There's no YOLO. You live twice. You don't live once. You live twice. They're here to deceive you. What else do you expect from the father of lies? When you understand it, it makes perfect sense. If I want to get you to go to a bad place like me, I'm going to deceive you however I can. Matter of fact, if I got riches, I'm like, yo, give him 10 mil. The guy be like, why? He'll get, don't worry, we'll get something much more important. Oh, yeah. Because money means nothing to them. No, money means nothing. They lost fallen angels, him. They all lost their chance. Guys, we are the angels next up to decide whether we go to heaven or hell. You don't realize that yet? Look at us. We're different from every being on the planet. Everything on this planet, we're different. Why? Because the very angels embody what we are, what they were. We are as angels. Choice, decision. On this earth, as a God of this earth who is below us in the pit, and the God above who is testing you, your choice decides whose side you're on. That's simple. It's nothing crazy. Let me put it in terms to you. Say I'm throwing a house party, and you're like, yo, CommenterNation coming through. Yo, Amber's coming through. Walter's coming through. Naya, you're coming through. Yo, Gaza, what's up? Gaza comes to me and says, look, to another friend, my boy Czarr's having a party. I'm about to slide through. Let me see what's up. And I'm like, yeah, he's good with you, Gaza. Gaza, he's good money. He could come through. Say another guy that knows the guy he invited is like, hey, can I come in? Gaza's like, I don't know you like that, so nah. But let me ask anyway, because he's a merciful person. Christ, okay? He comes to me and asks. I'm like, do you know him? Gaza's like, nah, I don't know him. He can't come. That's as simple as you getting into hell versus heaven. That's simple. If Gaza don't know you, you can't come to my party. If Christ does not know you through any personal relationship, you cannot come to my party. You're not invited. I don't want to see you there. Matter of fact, go somewhere else. Where is that other place you go? Where? The bottomless pit known as hell. Because you can't get into our party. You dig me? It's that simple. How many times has that happened? We literally reenact things that go on in a realm we cannot see. Therefore, what we go through dealing with this situation, specifically speaking on this, it dictates that of which happens above us in a different sense. It's no different. Choices are made up there. Decisions made. People invited to come in. People kicked out. But the problem with the kick out part is, say Gaza, we had a party. I kicked someone out, aka Lucifer. And I was like, yo, I don't ever want this to happen again. Gaza's gonna say to me, yo, let's make sure it never happens again. Here we are. You're all being tested. All of you. Will you make it into the party, or will you go to the party you ain't want to go to? Which one will you make it into? That's the thing. He kicked the guy out and said, I ain't never inviting people like that to the party. And he's going to make sure he doesn't. So who are you with? The Father above or the father of lies? It's that simple. It's that simple. I can't make this up. It's that simple. It's a simple understanding. People want to make it complicated, like, oh, there is no God. Oh, he ain't giving me millions like I asked him for. That's not what he's here to do. He's here to bring you love, peace, prosperity, and wealth beyond imagination when you make it into his party. You see, his promises are, you beat this test on earth, you get with me, and we good forever and ever and ever and ever for eternity. That's the difference. I hope that doesn't go over your head. That's the difference. That's the difference between Christ and the devil. The devil doesn't make any long-term promise. He gives you everything for the moment. All of you who have gotten something from him, was it not for the moment? What promise did he make for you? Oh, for the moment? Oh, you'll be good for the next 20 years. Once the 20th year comes, he wipes you out. That's not Christ. He's forgiving. He's promising to you. See, and people try to argue, oh, there ain't no God, because they're so frustrated with life or something that happened here that they're not thinking about the second life, because they're so busy thinking YOLO is real. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. Now, I'm telling you this from a man whose only perspective before really digging into reading this stuff was, I want to kill God. You took my mom out. How many of you moms still alive? How many of you moms maybe passed a few years ago? He took my mom when I was 8 years old. I could hold a grudge forever. But that's not a God that I know, because I honestly know where my mom's at. I know where she's at because I know what she taught me. I know what she believed in. That's the difference. So her peace and prosperity is greater than anything I can experience now. And that's where I need to be in the future. I brought this to you because Kanye West said Jesus is king. That is a lie. There are kings in hell. He's King of kings and Lord of lords, our Savior. Get it right. You want to mention my God's name and act like you're spitting truth? Get it right, because you will be held accountable for you trying to pull in Christians off of this. Let me ask you something. Let me just ask y'all a quick thing. If I was a Satanist, would it benefit me more to attract other Satanists or attract Christians to believe in what I believe in? Do you get me now? Now it should be crystal clear. It just makes more sense. I'm not going around looking for any Satanists. They don't benefit me. They already believe what I believe. They're already going to the pit. I need to find Christians that believe in Christ, confuse or switch their mind, because then got another soul. That's the game. The game is not out here to confuse you more than it is to take your soul. Not that you can sell it, not that they can actually take it, but to take your soul from you, deceive you, trick you. That's the game. When they offered me money, that was the game. Will he accept this and shut up? Then we could cause a situation. Oh, then we could do something. Then let me tell y'all something. There was a personal situation, face to face, not even on media, before I even did media, where I spoke to a person about something I believe. It was about a way more serious topic than anything I've talked to date. This is the most serious, but it was one notch under seriousness of this topic. Nothing to do speaking about Christ, nothing to do with God. Do you think they didn't set me up? They blatantly set me up. Because when they see me the next day, they were like, how is he alive? Yeah, I remember that. You set me up. Then I came riding back because you know who my God is. You know how I move. You couldn't get me. He was like, because he seen me. I just walked up to him, smiled at him, looked him in his eyes, walked right by him. He could have died on the spot. I could have came back, rocked him. I could have came. To this date, I can guarantee you this. Worse has happened to him. I don't even want to talk about it. He's experienced far worse than anything I could have did to him. And I'm going to leave it there. But you'll find people doing that. But when you move with the true and living, that's why when these people do their things, I know what's going to happen to them. Because it's already happened to another guy that tried to do it. I know what's going to happen to you. And when you go somewhere forever and ever, you burn forever and ever. You have insects all over you forever and ever while you burn and get tortured. I don't think you're going to be laughing. just to say, I don't think that's funny. You ain't going to be laughing. You're going to be begging for forgiveness, but that's too late then. So anybody that tries to make you think, oh, Crow, I'm not going to go into that. They made a decision. And it wasn't just him. It wasn't just him. There was a few others. But to date, every single one of them has faced worse, way worse than I could ever do back to them. But they all were like they were about to, I thought they were about to stroke out when they see me walking right up to them. And I was like, hey, what's up? They're like, how? If he could do that, he would have did that right there and then. His eyes were so big. It literally looked like a cartoon. That's how I knew something was up with him. He looked like a cartoon. He was like, I was like, what's up? That's how it works. That's why my face is to the sky. That's why my prayers now are to the sky, because I know where my God is. I know where my God is for a fact. And let me tell you this. If your God isn't up there, your God's down there, he knows he lost. So he's going to drag all of you down with him. You think he loves you, he's going to torture you. What's the opposite of love? If God is love, peace, and prosperity, what's the opposite? His love's endless. His hate's endless. That's how you know the difference. You feel me? I'm trying to let you into the truth. People say, oh, the Bible's boring. Oh, I read it, the Bible. Did you read it? Did you just read it? Or did you understand it? There's a difference. I looked at all these books these guys look at. I looked at, trust me, this Bible here, the Bible, it is the only book I personally have verified as the truth. It is the only book I've verified as the truth because it makes sense when I look around us. It makes sense. You see, any other type thing spoke of the Savior as a man, literally a man on the earth with divine prosperity that was inherently, no, dummy. Christ was God in the flesh. It wasn't about a man. Many men did amazing things during his time. They were just men that believed in him. I'm trying to tell you. We are all made in his image, but we are not the true living King of Kings, God. We are literally gods, though. We make decisions. It gets deeper than that, Crow. We're angels. We're not just God. We're angels. Because when we die, you're either going down there forever or up there forever. That's an angel. We're not like animals. We're angels with souls that have decisions to make of where you want to go for eternity. Period. I brought this to y'all because I seen some things that weren't true. I listened to some of Kanye West stuff that it's deception. If his sector, whoever his masters are, the money's his master, whoever his master, can allow him to use Jesus' name and use it for a bad purpose, my God told me it was time to clear it up. The same way you felt that to do what you did, my God, the true and living, told me you better let them know. And if you don't let them know, I'm going to hold you accountable. I did what I had to do. I let you know from top to bottom with scripture. So it's your decision from here. What are you going to do? The ball's in your court. It's your favorite rapper's time, your favorite movie star's time, your favorite's time, your favorite actor and actress's time. All rights reserved. You now know exactly what it is. That the focus isn't on religion. Oh, my religion's this. Do you believe in Jesus Christ as the one and only Savior of the world? And if you do, begin studying it. Study what it is he wants you to do. Study what it is he has for you. Do what it is his commandments say. To all of y'all who listen and you scoff your nose or turn yourself down at it, at this very moment, he's seen you. Doesn't matter what I see. Doesn't matter what I see. He sees you and he will hold you accountable. God bless you all.